Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Successful Strategies to Getting Clients. Today we're going to be talking about public speaking. It's a really good marketing tool to help you get clients, show that you're an expert in an area, and get in front of a bunch of clients too, specifically speaking at Chamber of Commerce's and stuff like that. But we'll get into that in more depth as we go along. So first of all, has anybody ever done any public speaking? If you have, just say yeah or no, you'd like to, or you have no interest at all in doing it. Some of us just don't want to do it at all. I know for me personally, I do not like public speaking. I'm getting better at it as I practice and do it more, but it's not something I enjoy doing. I don't race out there looking to speak at places. Typically I'm asked to speak and then I go, okay, I guess I can do it again, right? I'm not very good at doing it in a sense that I don't like doing it. I'm probably pretty good at doing it now, but I still don't like doing it. I still get nervous butterflies and get all funny and crazy the day before, but I am doing it and it's getting easier each time. So we've got a few people that say yes, a few not sure about it, and some haven't done it at all. Why would you be even considering public speaking? It's a good way to educate people about your business. Okay, so it's an educating platform. You know, even just doing an elevator speech in front of a networking group is public speaking, right? But you can educate people about your business. If you're doing a whole webinar or something like that, or a whole 20-minute speech in front of a group publicly, you know, that sets you apart from your competition that might not be speaking. It also shows you as an expert, like an expert in your field. You're an expert. You know all about how to organize email or whatever it is you're talking about. And it's a good way to be like, you know, it's like a mass marketing call. You're speaking to more than one person at once. You're speaking to a whole group, right? So it's like a bigger marketing campaign than just going from person to person trying to get that client. This way you can speak to a whole group and, you know, it saves you time, it saves you money, and it's a mass marketing call basically. And usually attendees that attend to hear you speak are there because they're interested in what you have to say, or, you know, they have like-minded interests and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good reasons to public speak, and one of them is just to get known, get your business known, and let people know that you're open for business and you're ready to take on clients and you're an expert and you can deal and juggle their administrative tasks. So there's a lot of good reasons to public speak. Now, I talked a few minutes ago about how I don't like public speaking. And I guess it's just because I'm more shy. I mean, the shyness is going away as I speak more and as I do these webinars with you guys and everything else. I mean, I'm probably not so much of an introvert now, more of an extrovert. I don't know if you could switch, but it seems like I have. One way to get over the fear is just to keep doing it. Don't give up. One of my goals now is, and it was never a goal before, but it is to public speak more and to get out there and be known for my public speaking with regards to virtual assistants and stuff like that. One thing I found really, really helpful is I joined my Toastmasters. Have any of you guys ever joined Toastmasters or are aware of it at all or anything like that? Each community should have a Toastmasters group, and if not, just go to, I believe it's toastmasters.org, and you'll hear about it. But like my group, it's not very expensive either. Like, it's like $120 a year. We meet every Monday night for a couple of hours, and you practice speaking in public. And the cool thing with Toastmasters is that everybody that's there are people that are trying to get over their fear of public speaking. Like, that's the purpose of Toastmasters, is to help you learn not to be fearful of speaking and to learn how to speak properly and all the ins and outs. So you're kind of in a group where you feel comfortable because you know everybody's in the same boat, right? So if you're super duper nervous about speaking, it's a great group to grow and learn at. You don't just learn public speaking in it either. You learn leadership skills. You learn how to listen, you know, which is really good if you're doing client interviews and stuff. You need to know what your client wants. You need to learn to be quiet and listen, right? But if you haven't checked out Toastmasters, I really recommend it. I've actually been at Toastmasters for 3 or 4 years now, and I've had 4 clients from Toastmasters. So you actually get clients from them because, you know, I'm always doing my practice 5-minute speeches, because you'll practice a speech and then present it to them, right? And I'll do a speech on virtual assistants or on something that I sell services for. And I've actually picked up 4 clients over the years from Toastmasters. So it's a good little networking group too. And they spread the word about you, and they learn a lot about you because you're doing all your speeches on things that you know, right? So check them out. It's a really good networking group. Plus you learn how to public speak. And, you know, you even do 2-minute intros each night. And it teaches you how to speak on the fly. They do these odd questions, and they give you 2 minutes to answer it. And it's just fun, and it teaches you to speak on the fly and learn to think and speak. So check them out. I think it's toastmasters.org, but just put Toastmasters into Google and you'll find it. Another way to get over your fear is just speak from experience. You know, speak about what you know, right? You know inside and out how to organize email, or you know inside and out how to use WordPress. Whatever your specialty is, right? Speak about what you know, and your confidence will just shine right through. You'll be really confident if you're speaking about what you know, right? Another good thing is to tell a story. You know, they always say start with a joke or whatever, but tell a story, get personal. Nothing's better than hearing a personal story, right? You don't just have to read your notes. Right? You may talk about a case study of how you got a client, their administrative tasks handled, maybe specifically something, how you got them set up with a project management system, and now you save them over 5 hours a month on time that they can spend with their family. You know, get personal with it. I know I was speaking at a recent event, and we were trying to raise money for a shelter, a women's shelter, and I knew the crowd wasn't listening to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going over the benefits of the shelter, and it just felt like they weren't connecting. You know what I mean? I thought, okay, I'm not getting their ears. They're not hearing me. They're just going on, you know. And then I started talking about how difficult it was when I was a single mom, you know, 10, 15 years ago, and how I had to, you know, go to a food shelter and stuff. And once I started talking really personal and telling a story, all of a sudden everybody's eyes came alert and they were listening to me, right? So sometimes get personal. Tell a story, because that will pull people in and get them listening. And start small. You know, if you're just starting out speaking, start small. You know, maybe you could offer to act on a panel of experts or something like that, you know, and just be one of 6 speakers and the audience asks the questions. But don't let fear overcome you, okay? Get out there and learn to public speak, because there's a lot of benefit to it for your company and for bringing awareness to your VA business. So there's lots of lunch and learns, there's seminars, There's a lot of places like the Chamber of Commerce. There's other networking business groups like industry association groups for your target market. You know, there's some groups that have little coffee houses or at business offices. You know, they have coffee, or there's conferences for your target market, like small business conferences, Soho conferences, lots of different places you can speak at. You know, you might be able to speak at a local college, training center. There's classes offered at those. You could actually teach a class, right? There's also webinars and teleseminars. You know, we've got the VA Virtuosos coming up soon. We're looking for speakers. We're looking for VAs to speak with us. And it's a great way to test out the waters to see if you'd like to speak, because basically with a webinar, you don't have to publicly be on display. You're sitting hiding behind a computer screen, right? So it's not so intimidating. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. When you're going to lead a lunch and learn or a seminar or webinar, whatever, choose a topic you know. You know, don't decide, okay, I'm going to start talking about Google Plus or something, and you don't know all the ins and outs of Google Plus yet. All right, stick to something you're very, very knowledgeable in, be it, say it's Facebook, all right? And you know that no one can hit you up with a question that you probably can't answer, right? Also choose a topic in demand. Find out what your target audience, what your market wants to learn about, right? And it could be just how a virtual assistant could give them 10 extra hours a week if they just sourced out their work, their administrative tasks to a virtual assistant, right? How it could free up their time. Choose a topic that people would be interested in your audience. And lunch and learns are really good. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but different networking groups like Chamber of Commerce and different things like that, they have these lunch and learns where people eat lunch and the speaker goes up and gets to speak for 10-15 minutes while people are eating lunch. It's kind of cool. Look into places, do some research. Google is your friend. Just type into Google networking groups, speakers, your target market, find out where they're hanging out. Maybe you can do a class or speak with them, a knowledge class about virtual assistants. But go out there and look, and maybe you guys have some other ideas of where you could speak. There's lots of places online you can speak as well, if you're interested in doing like a webinar, just like the one we're doing here right now. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, you've decided you are going to, well, here's where to speak. I guess I should have whipped along over to this slide, but that gives you an idea of places you can speak. Your industry conferences, I'm going to IVA in April in Vegas, and I'll be speaking there. And a lot of times I speak at conferences now on virtual assistants or on outsourcing. There's a lot of local places as well. But I already went through that slide there. But just in case you're taking notes, I'll leave it up for a minute. But lots of places where you can public speak. And even just talking to your client, learning to public speak can help you in one-to-one situations as well. All right, so I really feel that public speaking is important for a VA, because I'm telling you, it will increase your confidence tenfold in your abilities, your confidence, and it just shows forth in your business if you're more confident, right? And learning to public speak can help you in that area. Okay, so let's talk about you've accepted to speak at a conference. Let's use that as an example, okay? Or Chamber of Commerce or whatever. Well, typically what they will ask from you is your presentation profile. Like, for example, okay, actually, let's just rip right over to mine. We're looking for speakers, okay, at our online conference. And we're looking for VAs, just like you guys, to speak, okay? And we need a profile presentation so that we can put you onto this front page, right? And basically, we want a picture of you. We're going to want your contact information. We're going to want a title, a good title that's enticing, that makes people want to come to it, about what you're going to be speaking on, and then a description of what you're speaking on, right? And we need this to put on our website and to advertise you, right? So typically, they'll ask you for a presentation profile, and they may have you email it, you may have to drop it off, but, you know, like for us, we have a form that you have to fill out, okay, with all the information on it. All right, and they can ask you all different kinds of things, from your biography. They might put your biography on their web page if they have one, or in their pamphlets or flyers. They'll want your URL. If you're going to be promoting a product, they'll want to know about that. Sometimes when you speak, you've got a 5-minute window at the end of your presentation to push a product out, right? Be your services or whatever it might be. Every presentation profile will ask you a little bit different things, right? Like we ask something at the end, please add a fun and interesting personal tidbit about yourself, like you collect dinosaur eggs, or you live virtually in an RV working around the world, right? Because these are just fun little things we talk about our speakers at our event. Okay, so there's lots of different things they might ask you. Make sure you fill it out as best you can. When you're doing the title of your presentation, try and make it snappy. Instead of how to work with a virtual assistant as your title, call it easy ways to get 6 extra weeks this year to spend with your family, or whatever, right? Make it a little more snappy, a little more emotional, catchy, all right? And you'll find that more people will show up to it. Also, let the audience know what's in it for them, what's in it for me, what will they gain or learn listening to you, right? And let's just go back here, for example. Let's just look at these, for example, and see how well those speakers did. But what's in it for them? So Sharon was speaking about the intangibles of a great business plan. And, you know, she said she'd cover intangible elements of a great business plan, blah, blah, blah. And you would understand your vision, mission, your objectives. She actually puts out things that you will get from attending her webinar, right? Same with Kathy. You know, these are the benefits. It'll be a #1 cost method to get a steady stream of clients coming to you. 2 no-cost ways to build a list of hundreds of potential clients. She's telling you right now what's in it for them if they attend her 7 no-cost marketing secrets to getting high-paying clients, right? So that's really good. Put in it what are the benefits to you, okay, if you attend, all right? Because that will entice people to attend more if they know what they're going to gain or learn from attending your webinar. And I think someone said, Nanette said she did a radio podcast. That's exactly another good example, Nanette, of a speaking engagement. You know, maybe it's a podcast online or a radio interview. I've been interviewed by radios, by televisions, and I didn't even add those onto our list. You know, I was thinking probably small, but yeah, radio podcasts are really cool. They're a great way to get out there and public speak. A lot of times they'll do things like Q&As. You know, I know Kelly McCausey, she's going to be doing a Q&A with me where she asks me a bunch of questions on the fly. And those make me a little nervous because you never know what they're going to ask you, right? But the key to those is listening to what they're asking you. Staying focused, first of all, is key, right? Like not drifting off and twiddling your thumbs doing something else or multitasking or whatever. You really got to concentrate when you're in a radio interview and listen to what they're saying. Take a minute, or not a minute, a few seconds to breathe after you hear the question and a lot of times I will repeat the question to them, back at them, and that way it gives me another second to think up my answers, right? Staying calm, yeah. And, always know, too, when you're in a situation like that, if you don't know the answer, just be honest. Say, you know what, I've never thought about that before, but it's something I will research and I will get back to you with an answer. Be honest. People love honesty, right? But, yeah, podcasts are really cool. If you can get involved in that, that's another, I'd say podcasts and webinars, if you're just starting out and you're really afraid to speak in public, they're a good way to speak because you're not sitting right in front of the people. You're behind a computer screen, behind your microphone. So that might make you feel a bit more comfortable until you get used to public speaking a bit, right? But anyways, that's what you should have in your presentation profile. They'll also usually ask you for a speaker bio. And your speaker bio is probably constantly changing and building. It's ongoing. I know mine changes from year to year. And my speaker bio can also change depending on the audience that I'm speaking to, right? Like if I'm speaking to a bunch of internet marketers, I'll probably play more on my certified internet marketing business specialist letters I have behind my name, right? And me going to university to become a internet marketing specialist. If I'm speaking to VAs, I will probably highlight more that I've been a VA for 15 years, right? And my knowledge and education in being in the business, right? So your speaker bio may change depending on your audience, but you can write up a couple and just have them ready to go, right? In your speaker bio, you might want to talk about why you are the expert. Why do you feel you are the expert? Well, obviously you have a VA business. You've been working in it. You know the industry. You service the clients, right? But why are you the expert? Or if it's Facebook expert or whatever it is, maybe do a line in there of why you feel you are the expert. You can talk about your prior speaking experiences. You can include, you've spoken before on television or radio or whatever it is. Or you can talk about courses you've taught, things like that. You can even include in your bio quotes of what the attendees have said about your presentation. Like Nanette I learned so much from Nanette off of her podcast that it made me want to go out and start up my Facebook page or whatever it was, right? You can do quotes in there as well. You can also, usually, I would recommend, if they allow it, I direct them to my business in my bio. Like I'll say, for more information, sign up to my newsletter at www. blah, 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 right? Or they can get more info about you, or they can hire me, or whatever at my website. I always try to get my URL in there if I can, and I would go as far as doing the URL instead of an email address, okay? Because people will go check out a URL, but they won't necessarily email you, right? So try to direct them to your business, and a great way to do that is a good call to action. Like for more information, download my free ebook on how to utilize the services of a VA, right? And that gets them over there because they're going to get something for free. Remember, your profile, it's always changing and growing as your experience grows, right? So keep that updated and always double check it wherever you're speaking, and maybe give it a little update, right? Any questions so far? Hopefully after this presentation you'll be interested in looking at public speaking. We talked about trade shows last month and marketing at trade shows. Having good public speaking skills is really good at trade shows as well, right? Like you'll use it in good public speaking skills, you'll use it in all areas of your business. and marketing, and just one-on-one talking with your client, right? You'll have more confidence there too if you know, well, I just spoke to 100 people in an audience. Surely I can speak to this one client about what I do, right? Ideas for presentations. What would you speak about? There's so many things. It really depends on what your niche is, what you do. All I say is stick with what you know, with your skill set. Okay, if you're a bookkeeper, then talk about how books can be set up, or talk about QuickBooks or Sage or whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with and you're knowledgeable in. If you're a social media VA, then maybe you can talk about how to use social media in your business, or maybe you can get more specific and talk about the benefits of using Google Plus in 2014, whatever. If you're just an administrative, and I don't want to say just, if you are administrative VA and you don't really have any niche, you can, and you're just looking to get clients, administrative clients, talk about the benefits of your industry. The value of using a virtual assistant, or how you use one in a business, or the top 10 things a VA can do right now to free up your time. But there's tons of presentation ideas. Think about your audience, figure out what they would like to know, and go with that. Have any of you done presentations in the group here? And if so, what have you talked about? And presentations, they can go from 15 minutes right up to 2-hour presentations, right? The big thing now with webinars is you'll see a lot of speakers now aren't doing the typical 45-minute webinar. They're going 90 minutes. It's like this big, long webinar. They're giving you full of information, right? But that's the new thing right now, is doing these long 90-minute webinars. 2 years ago, we couldn't even do hardly a webinar because of the bandwidth. So maybe that's why now people have the bandwidth, they have the internet connection, they can do them longer. But we're getting like full-scale, knowledgeable training in webinars nowadays. Okay, so many of you haven't spoken too much. Nanette, what was the radio or the podcast thing like? Was she just talking about virtual assistants and how to utilize those services and stuff? So it was about you. And don't forget, guys, we've got Hangouts, Google Hangouts. That's a cool way, and you can do group Skypes as well to public speak on. But there's lots of smaller venues as well that you can do public speaking on. Okay, but lots of ideas that you can speak about. If you're a brand new VA, like at our VA Virtuosos, for example, it's not just veteran VAs that are speaking with us. We want brand new virtual assistants speaking with us. And there's lots of different topics that they could speak on if you're a brand new VA, because this market, well, first of all, let's just say this conference that I put on is for you guys, for virtual assistants, okay? So that's the target market. So there's new VAs coming to it. There's not old VAs, let's call them veterans, ones that have been in business a long time. So there's lots of different subjects you can talk on, from very advanced topics to very simple ones like how to juggle your first client. Or maybe a new VA is working and their topic's going to be juggling your schedule, working from home as a mother. There's a lot of VAs out there that have children at home, and they're just need some advice on how to juggle their schedule working from home as a mom, right? Other things a new virtual assistant could talk about that's only been in business a few months or whatever is, the struggles getting started. What are the top 5 software programs you need to learn as a virtual assistant starting out? You're going to know the answers to these things. You're going to be well versed in it because you just went through it. So just because you're a brand new virtual assistant doesn't mean you have something that people don't want to hear about, okay? So just lots of ideas. Think of the things that you know and you've been through, and those are great presentation ideas for you. And Nanette, you said you were able to speak about virtual assistants in the new year. That's cool. And Nanette's put a URL in there so we can all go and check it out later on. Perfect timing too. Right now it's a brand new year and people are wanting to get a jump on their business, and a great time to talk about how a virtual assistant can help you with that. There's lots of ideas out there for things to present on. It's just coming up with something that you're fluent in, you're knowledgeable in, and you feel you can give some good ideas to your audience about that topic. Now, what do you use for effective presentations? When you're presenting something, participants need to feel their time was worth it, right? That they were there and they got something out of it. Again, what's in it for me, sitting there in the audience? So make sure you give them things that they can take back with them. Either it's tips, maybe it's a really cool thing that you can do with Facebook that nobody knew about. Just give them some value, right? So that they feel like they leave your presentation and they've learned something. Always be ready for any questions that people may have at the end of your presentation. Sometimes there are Q&As at the end. And again, with Q&A, just listen to the question, repeat the question in your head again, or a lot of times I'll say the question back to them. So, do you mean what is the best way to market your Twitter profile? Like, I'll ask them a question over again, and they'll say, yes, that gives me time to think and get my answers together, right? And just go slow, talk slow, answer the question. If you don't know the answer, be honest. Say, you know, I really don't know the answer to that question. I've never been asked that before. But I will look into it and I'll get back to you and let you know, right? Or maybe you can say, but I don't know Google's policy with regards to such and such, but you can always go to the Google website and they have all their policies right there on the site that you can read through. You know, maybe direct them to the place where you know the answer is, right? Because we can't know the answer to everything. In your presentations, you know, don't give information overload. Don't go too much information. You know, don't give the top 40 tips to organizing your email. Probably the top 5 will be sufficient. All right? Because it's just information overload. Try to keep your presentation interesting. You know, you don't want to be boring. You don't want people falling to sleep. If you start to hear someone snoring during your presentation, you know you got to pick it up here and switch it up a bit. Examples are really good, especially when you're relaying your services as a virtual assistant. If your goal of your presentation is to bring on some more clients and bring awareness to your business, provide examples of specifically case studies possibly that you've helped other clients with. You know, like maybe you help a client get their blog up and running or whatever it might be, and now their list has grown from 500 people, now their list is 4,000 people or whatever, right? Use examples, try and use stats if you have any. That keeps it interesting. Focus on the audience when you're talking to them. Involve the audience sometimes. You know, like if I'm in a public presentation, right, where I've got an audience of people out there. Oh, there's the ball presentation that I've done with virtual assistants. Usually you have a bigger audience, you know, 25 or more people in the audience, right? And what you can do is to explain what virtual assistants do is I'll have all these different balls, right? And I'll ask the audience to be a volunteer, okay? And I'm going to tell them that I'm going to throw balls at them in the audience, right? And they have to keep them in the air constantly. So they have to keep throwing them up and down, right? And I might talk about, so what I'm basically doing is each of these balls is going to be something I'm talking about. Like I'll have a golf ball in my hand and it's kind of heavy. I call it the business plan, the solid foundation to your business. And, you know, these are the things you put in place when you first started your business. And as a small business owner, we all realize we need to continue on an ongoing basis to keep our business strong, right? By having a business plan. I'll be throwing the ball up, and I'll throw it up to the volunteer, right? A couple of volunteers at the front, and I'll say, you got to keep these balls in the air as best you can, right? And then I might have another ball I pull out of my tote bag, right? And it's a ball with a bell in it, and I'll say, this ball represents all the noisy stuff that breaks your concentration and become annoying, like the phone ringing, the email bleeping, the Twitter chirp, you know, visitors at your door. It all interrupts our day, but is important nonetheless. And I throw that ball at the volunteer, right? So now they've got two balls they're trying to keep in the air, the golf ball, the ball with the bell in it. And then I might have another one of those golf balls with the holes in it, put bells in it, and I'll say represents your bookkeeping. You know, and you don't want anything to slip through the holes, because if you don't watch it, your money will slip away, right? And this ball's noisy because your accounts payables get out of control. And I'll throw this ball at them, right? And now they've got three balls they're trying to keep up in the air and keep them going in the air. I might throw out colorful bouncy ball, you know, just a bouncy colorful ball, and I'll say this represents all the flashy stuff you do for your business, how you market yourself, you know, your website, your brochures and all that, and your mass mailings. They'll throw that ball at them. And so now they're trying to juggle all these balls, right? And, you know, I'll throw a green bouncy ball at them. That's a money ball, getting your products off the ground and all this kind of stuff. And like you can throw all kinds of balls at them, right? You can throw a yellow ball and say this is client follow-up. You know how you always have to do your client follow-up and remember their things and make sure your clients, your customer service is good, and you throw another ball at them. And in the end, the whole point of the ball presentation is you've got this poor guy at the front of the room trying to juggle all these balls, keep them in the air, and basically you're showing that as a business owner, how can you juggle all the demands of your business and keep all those balls in the air at the same time? And the simple answer is to begin to pass some of those balls off to others so they can assist you to keep all those balls in the air. And that's where my virtual assistant services can help you, right? So it was kind of like what I'm putting out here is get the audience involved, and it can be fun, right? And there's lots of different ways you can get your audience involved. Keep it from a boring presentation to something that's really engaging, right? Don't oversell in your presentation. Typically, if you're doing a standard, you know, half hour, 1 hour presentation, wherever you are, they'll let you sell at the end of it. Don't oversell. If you're there talking about your services, talk about the benefits. You don't have to talk about pricing. You can offer them a free consult. Come back and speak to me at the end of this presentation, and I'll give you a free consult or whatever it might be. You might have really cool highlighters or something, or pens or something, and something really cool anyway, some promotional item, and say later on during lunch, come over and talk to me and I'll give you one of my highlighters. At least that connects you with them, right? But don't oversell, okay? That just makes everybody uncomfortable and squirmy, but do get the word out. Give them some call to action to get a hold of you, all right? Something that's interesting. And Brenda talks about that too. She says, good point on the don't oversell. I went to a session last week that offered very little content but spent more than half the time selling a program where it wasn't quite clear as to how we would benefit from the program in terms of value for the price. And really good point, Brenda. Make it maybe a 2, 3 minute, 5 minute top sell if you're doing a 1 hour event. Basically, you want to just give them content and help them know what's in it for them and educate them. And they will buy from you if they trust you and they don't feel like you're car salesman or snake oil type thing, right? I know I went to a conference once, and it was that exact same way, Brenda. There must have been about 8 speakers, and it was a full day, and they were like 1.5-hour presentations, and they were about 40 minutes presentation and 40 minutes hard selling to me. And I'll tell you, I never went to the afternoon presentations. You know, after the first 3 in the morning, I just didn't go to anymore because I just felt like I'm just being sold to. That's all this is about, this conference, is selling. Yeah, I mean, you have to allow the speakers that come in to, you have to be open to them knowing that they are going to sell you for a few minutes, right? They aren't speaking up there for no reason at all. They do want your services. So give them a few minutes and hear them out. But yeah, the hard sells where they're half-hour sells, that doesn't interest me. And they may work. I'm not saying they don't work, but I don't think they work for us as virtual assistants. But prove me wrong. You know, I'm not saying don't go and do that. I'm just saying it hasn't worked for me. But that's a little bit about effective presentations. Using PowerPoint, I just want to make a few points here. A lot of the times when you're doing a presentation, you can use a PowerPoint, or there's other things. I forget what the Macs use, what it's called offhand. Maybe someone else knows. But in your PowerPoints, don't be too wordy. Like, see this slide right here? Too many words, okay? But I'm pushing a bunch of information to you guys within a short hour here, and you guys are used to my presentations, but this would be almost too many words, right? Because you just don't see it, right? Let's go back to another slide here, see what it's like. Like, this would be better, shorter words, a picture. Keep your slides simple. Have really cool templates. Have templates branded for your business. You know, just don't use the stock template that's in PowerPoint. Make something that looks like the colors of your brand and shows off your branding. I wouldn't use graphics that are huge, like animated things and stuff that might not, if you're running from the internet, it might not work well, right? Keep your graphics simple. I recommend not having too many slides. If you've got 40 slides, they better be quick picture slides or something going through. Typically for an hour presentation, 10 to 15 slides should be enough. You know, you don't want to flip too fast through your slides, but I have been to presentations where they have flipped through fast, but they were pictures, and the pictures were very visual, and they told the story, just the pictures themselves, so they could flip through a little bit quicker. Always test your slideshows beforehand. Make sure that they work properly. If you've got bullet points that come up and they're timed at a certain timing, make sure you test it all and make sure they come up at the right times and things like that. Whenever you're going to do a presentation, even if it's a webinar online, typically they'll want to see your presentation before, like have a copy of it. Always, anyways, have a copy of your PowerPoint available, or have it sent to the organizer of the conference or whatever, so that if anything ever happened to your laptop, maybe you lost it at the airport flying down there or whatever it might be, someone has a copy of your PowerPoint, okay? You've got a backup. So make sure you have a backup. Again, technology can be temperamental. And remember, you are showcasing yourself, so brand your PowerPoint, put your logo on the bottom of it, your URL, whatever. I mean, don't put it in their face, but have it available so that they can see it. Like, I have my email address down here, and I have our URL in the corner just so people know who it is that is speaking to them. Again, some of the presentations I've done, I already told you about the ball presentation. I guess I should have told you about it here, but I went into it a little bit early. But, you know, there's different presentations you can do. I've done effective ways to use a virtual assistant, social media basics. I've probably done 200 different topics, presentations at this point. But these are just some ideas you could do. Setting up your small business office, maybe teaching clients how to get organized, something of interest to them. So that they say, hey, this Sherry here, she knows her stuff. I really should hire her. She gave me some great tips on setting up my small business office and things in this webinar, and I bet you she could really help me with my email organization and getting my administrative work done. Teach people what you know, they'll come following you. That's it actually, guys. That's the presentation today. I'm going to really encourage you guys to sign up and be a speaker. We are accepting applications until, I believe, January 20th. I'm not sure the date of that, but you can go to vavirtuosos.com/speaker and apply to be a speaker. And I'll tell you a little bit about VA Virtuosos if you don't know it, what it is. It is an online conference for virtual assistants. We typically have 20 speakers over a course of 5 days, and our theme of our series is from one virtual assistant to another. And basically, they're virtual assistants. You have to be a virtual assistant first of all to speak at it, or had been a virtual assistant, had a virtual assistant business, okay? Because we're learning from each other. We're learning from like-minded. So you do have to be a VA or have been in a VA business at one point in your life to speak with us. We're going into our 9th season. We've been doing this 9 times. And we're just looking for any VAs, brand new VAs, right to veterans and advanced topics, okay? Share your experience, your skill, your niche, and help other virtual assistants achieve success through the experience of you and your knowledge and what you've went through. And you'll find that virtual assistants from around the world join us, from UK, from Australia, North America, because they love to learn from their business colleagues. And it's always a sellout event. We usually get about 90 to 100 applicants. So do get your application in as soon as you can, because as soon as they start coming in, I'm starting to go through them, right? Because we get so many. And first come, first serve. I may have found the 20 people by the time it's January 20th if 20 really good ones come in, all right? But don't be afraid or scared or fear it. It's fun. Everyone attends this not to hear a perfected speech, but to hear what you know about being a virtual assistant that they don't know, okay? And it's a really cool audience because we are all virtual assistants. There's no big issues if you have some ums and ahs in your speaking. We don't care. We just want to learn from you. Learn what you have to share, what you've learned in your virtual assistant business, and that you can share with us and teach us, right, as other VAs. Do think about it. We'd love to have you speak with us. You could be growing your list. You could sell something. Maybe you've got a product that you want to sell to our group, or maybe you just want to build your list, or maybe, just maybe, you want to practice your public speaking. Perfect way to practice your public speaking, and we've had lots of VAs come to this event that just want to test out the waters, see if they like public speaking. Maybe it'll be a sideline income for them. I don't know, but they can test the waters behind a computer screen doing one of our webinars. A good way just to test out your public speaking. The presentations are typically 45 minutes to an hour, okay? We give you a 1-hour block, and typically what people do is take the 45 minutes for their presentation and then 15 for Q&A. So you can learn how to do Q&A as well. And I host the whole thing, and I will help with answers too as well if I know the answers. I'm always there in the background for you guys. when you're speaking. And we all know most of our speakers are first-time speakers, right? We do have some speakers that are veterans and they've spoke all the time, but we also have some people that are brand new. My daughter spoke for her first time at our last event. She spoke on Pinterest. She's been really learning a lot about Pinterest, and she spoke at our event. And I can give you a success story out of this one. She spoke at our event on Pinterest, and I'm just pulling that up here. She spoke somewhere along here. Where is she? She spoke on how to use Pinterest to market your VA business. And actually, she got a client from this. She got a couple of clients, but one of the speakers here, Lynn Terry, hired her on to be her Pinterest VA. And Lynn Terry's a huge internet marketer, and Danielle got this client, Lynn, just because she spoke at this event. And that was the first time Danielle ever spoke. She was super duper nervous. She says, "Mom, I almost feel like I gotta have a sip of vodka or something before I go on." But like she was just so nervous. She said, "Put my makeup on beforehand," she says, "I knew nobody could see me, but I was just so nervous trying to fill in time." But she did really, really well. She speaks all the time now. She spoke for Lynn's group, Lynn's Social Media Marketing Results program. She has a program. She spoke at her group, and it's going places she didn't expect it to do. And give it a chance. If you don't do public speaking, teach people about something you might not know, and you may just get a new client from it, right? Or at least you'll bring some confidence to the table for you, because now you can know that you're more comfortable speaking in a public environment. But I hope you guys got some good information today. I hope you're going to go out there, maybe apply to be a speaker here at VA Virtuosos, or get involved with your networking groups. Join a Toastmasters group. Learn to speak. Don't be so fearful of it. It's not that hard once you get rolling, all right? And public speaking can really help you in your business. All righty, guys? Okay, well, that's it for today. Again, hope to see you signing up to be a speaker at vavirtuosos.com/speaker, because I'd love to see you learning your public speaking in this route, and it just so happens that we're taking applications for it. But thanks a lot, guys.